Hi, my name is Tom Kelly. I'm the founder of the BeeSafe Organic Land Care Network. Over the past couple years, we've talked to thousands of lawn and landscape companies about potentially becoming a member of the BeeSafe Land Care Network. The way we typically get the information to these companies is by doing short informational webinars. This past January, we decided to advertise one of these webinars to the entire industry, and we were overwhelmed by the response. We had almost 150 registrants and almost 100 different companies attend the webinar. Many of you have asked if we could post a recorded version of it so that you could watch it after the fact. So what I'm doing today is introducing about a 40-minute recorded webinar that's going to give you lots of information about what it means to join the BeeSafe Organic Land Care Network. We focus on the typical applicator model, the typical cost associated with getting involved in the network. We cover a lot of things in regards to the way we help our applicators with marketing over the course of the off-season. One thing's for sure, what was once our alternative means to create healthy lawn and landscapes is absolutely now mainstream. I was shocked down at the Green Industry Expo last month at the number of companies that were embracing the way we do things. I'd like to thank Planet for doing the same, for embracing the way that alternative lawn and landscape is now becoming mainstream. So take 40 minutes or so, watch the webinar, and hopefully you'll be interested in becoming a member of the network. We're reaching 100 locations and hope to be there by the spring of 2013, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Hey guys, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get started. We've got, as I said earlier when I jumped on a couple of times, we've got a really big group, and that's that's a good thing. Maybe it's because of some weather throughout the country. Lots of guys in the office today as the last couple of minutes have gone by. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. If there are other companies jumping on, they might miss a couple of minutes, but that's okay. So again, thanks for joining us today. My name is Tom Kelly. I'm the founder of the BeeSafe Lawn Care Network, and what we're going to do today is a webinar to give you basically as much information about the BeeSafe Organic Lawn Care Network as possible in as short a period of time as possible. Hopefully I won't go too long, but I know you guys have other things to do, and I thank you for taking the time to join us today. This is live, so it's not a recorded webinar. I encourage interaction. If you have any questions that I could answer for you as we go, you can type them right into the question console of the GoToWebinar console that's on your screen, and that's the best way to get me questions. A lot of times I won't answer them right away because I typically will answer most of the questions that people are asking further on in the webinar. So if you ask some questions, and this, Chuck, yeah, well, this is free, and thank you for joining us from Ontario. I believe the phone call will be a charge. We've got people from all over the country, and we do this often. We do this all the time, and I've never heard any issues concerning extra charges with with jumping on the webinars. But it is a toll call. If you're calling on a landline and you're logged in that way, you'll have toll call charges, which shouldn't be too bad. So again, thank you for asking. And just like Chuck just typed that in there, anytime anybody wants to ask a question, please type it right in there. As I was saying, most of the time I'll address it later on in the webinar. So if I don't answer it right away, I'm not ignoring you. So let's go ahead and get started. As I said, our goal for today is to provide you with information about our industry, our particular system, the support that we offer the dealer network, the characteristics of an ideal dealer applicator, the investment required to get involved, and there is a dealer fee to get involved. We'll also try to determine if your company is a good fit for our program, or the opposite too. You can determine if we're a good fit for you to introduce into your business. But at the very least, at the conclusion of today's webinar, you should clearly know if you're interested in taking the next steps in the discovery process. So we'll also cover who we are, what our dealer applicators actually do. We'll talk about some of the industry and demand involved with our particular business model. We'll talk about some of the advantages of those business models. We'll also talk about the typical applicator profile. We'll review the investment. We'll talk about our programs and systems, and we'll review a product, and then we'll talk about what the next steps are. We'll also do a little bit on marketing. We'll do a little bit on because this year is this time of year is so important with putting together and formulating your marketing approach. We like to spend a couple minutes on that too. So we've got a lot to cover. Again, it seems like we'll be on here for 2 hours, and we certainly won't. We'll try to keep it well below an hour, hopefully even less than that. So just a little bit about who we are. The BeeSafe Lawn Care Network operates under the parent company of Natural Technologies and has a sister company, Firebelly Organics. I started Firebelly Organics after I sold my chemical lawn care business called the Lawn Dog. That was a pretty big business in the Northeast. Started Firebelly 4 years ago. Was lucky enough to be able to partner with a company called Natural Technologies to help bring a lot of our information and technology to a national stage, and we went from there. We launched the dealer network in August of 2011 after working and trying to define what the dealer network was really going to be about. For about 6 months, we put a lot of time and energy and effort into developing the brand and improving the product line and that sort of thing. Currently, as we speak right now, we've got more than 60 members of the network. I believe we're at 64. And so we've grown pretty quick. We've got a goal of bringing on about 100 applicators in our first 18 months, and we're going to get pretty close to it. I don't know if we're going to blow that away, but we've grown very quickly, and we'll likely get to that number. It's important to us to become or to be a recognized leader not only in the organic lawn care industry, but in the lawn care industry in general. And I want to mention that we're really a lawn care brand that specializes in organics. We don't necessarily pigeonhole ourselves to only be organics. It's more of an alternative type lawn care brand, and we really were the first at what we did with a lot of the technology. We want to be the largest, and absolutely we want to be the best. We specialize in organic lawn care for residences and for commercial. We offer a premium program, a standard 6-step liquid program, which is what we kind of all started with. We have what's called an elements program, and this is where I mentioned that it's not necessarily only organics, and we'll talk about that. And then many of our applicators use many of the organic products in their chemical program as well. I want to mention our goal here is to help clients have a nice lawn in a responsible and effective manner by providing them what they want. And I say that because if a customer wants you to spray their weeds, you should spray their weeds. If they want you to spray their weeds with a herbicide, a chemical herbicide, you should. You never ever want to lose a customer based on your advocacy. So yes, we are an alternative and organic lawn care program, and we do believe in the reduction of pesticides, but we're realistic in knowing that you will have to apply weed controls to keep everybody happy all the time. This is a business, not an advocacy group. Up in Ontario, you may not have that ability, but that's a whole other story. So right now, the industry is dominated by really 3 to 5 companies on a national basis, and we're talking about the states here. I know we've got a couple Canadian guys on, but and even up there, it's really dominated by just 3 to 5 companies that really take over the whole industry, and none of them are specifically organic or do much organic at all. And that's interesting in that in today's day and age, many consumers want to be green. It's almost a cliche at this point. Environmentalism and good health are really big in all aspects of life. People are making an effort to be more environmentally friendly. There's also legislation being passed all over the place. The Canadian guys know all about that. Many towns and counties and municipalities are banning the use of lawn care chemicals. And these municipalities are hiring alternative companies to care for their turf. And there's not many out there who know exactly what they're doing. And that's where we kind of come in. So all this means that there's an incredible opportunity in regards to business. So here's our top 5, and you'll notice True Green really is the only one at more than $1 billion. So those top 5 companies account for 95% of the market share. What we'd like to do is be able to climb up there somehow and be represented in a very different way than a franchise or a privately owned company. But we're made up, or our goal is to be made up of really small to mid-size, independent, alternative thinking type companies that want to operate under the BeeSafe brand, and that's what we're all about. Let's talk about four types of our typical applicators here. And with so many guys on the webinar, I know that most of you will relate to at least one of these companies. That's why I like to review them and tell you a little bit about their story. Go Green Landscaping was a small, relatively small, mid-sized company up in southern Maine. Mostly maintenance, a little bit of lawn care, did some construction. But Scarborough was one of those towns that passed a ban. And just a municipal group of activists got together and they passed a ban on all lawn care pesticides. So it opened up an enormous opportunity for somebody to come in, bid on the job, and we worked with Dave up in Scarborough for a long time to help him put together a great estimate, a great package. He ended up getting the job. It was a $90,000 account, which was literally a company-changing account for him, not only in the gross sales, but in the reputation. He's now very well known in town and surrounding towns, and as a result of bringing on the BeeSafe applicator brand. Perfilon is a little bit different. Perfilon is in Buffalo, New York, with 2 other locations in Pennsylvania and Erie and Pittsburgh. Very well established, old, well, I shouldn't say old, but they've been around since 1979. And the Capotis brothers have run a great business with 15,000 lawn care customers. Very well known, very old school, and they ran into some issues with New York State having passed bans or legislation regarding the use of lawn care chemicals around schools. So they were forward thinking enough to bring us into the loop, got into the network, were trained on using all of our products and systems, now find themselves with almost 1,200 organic lawn care customers. And they will tell you that their organic lawns look just as good as their chemical lawns, and they expect that number will continue to increase often. Safe Grown, totally different, down in Cookeville, Tennessee. We typically don't deal with startups, but these guys came to us, had a very, very, very small landscaping company. I'm talking about like mowing a couple of lawns, and took a look at the opportunity in the lawn care or organic lawn care industry and came to us, and we brought them into the network. We typically don't deal with startups, but with these guys we did, and they've launched a great business. They started 2 years ago, and they're doing very well. Finally, Hydro Green in New Jersey is a perfect example of, I think, what most of you guys will relate to. He was or is Keith Hates is really a maintenance, design, construction company. One of those really well-established, well-known companies that does everything, from, as I said, maintenance and construction and some lawn care and irrigation. And lots of you guys, that's the position that you're in. He was kind of a non-believer with organics, but somebody dragged him to a conference or something one time. He said, man, maybe I better get into this. He contacted us. And what he's found is that by bringing on the BeeSafe brand, he's grown all of his other divisions exponentially, because what happened was he was able to get in front of a group of people that he was never really able to get in front of anymore. Maybe more of an upper class sort of clientele, or people that tend to want to be organic. Even if it's just going to Whole Foods, so they say they went to Whole Foods, but a more wealthy clientele. And every other division of his business grew a lot and very quickly. And Keith sends us pictures of his organic lawns all the time, and they look really good. Some of the advantages, as we started to talk about a little bit there, is that obviously this is in demand. An organic approach is in demand based on all the things we just talked about, the way people live their lives, legislation, all those kind of deals. There's a higher margin in organics. Your products cost a little bit more, but you charge a little bit more. Not a lot more. You don't want to price it out of price yourself out of business, but for the most part, your margins will increase. Lawn care is super predictable. I could predict and project to within a couple percent, almost every statistic, just based on, on what's going on, and that's something we help our guys with all the time. Obviously, it's a recurring client base. Your cancel rate will be 15% at the most. So most customers who are with you one year will come back the next year. Referrals are huge. People send their family and friends to your business. It'll open up new markets for you. There's a huge upsell potential, and we talked about that with Hydro Green in New Jersey a little bit. So what type of company are we looking for to become a BeeSafe applicator? And we like to mention this because there's a couple things that are important. First of all, we want you to be looking to grow and to be comfortable with change. And not wanting to grow isn't a bad thing. There are many companies out there who are doing just fine and aren't looking to multiply their business because they're very profitable. But we like companies that are looking to grow and are kind of comfortable with doing things a little bit differently. Usually we like to see you doing at least a $500,000 in revenue. That's not a firm number, but it's usually worth mentioning. Your business acumen, your ability to be organized operationally and to run a good business is very important. We want you to be passionate about lawns and your customers and the environment. But most importantly, you have to be okay with following a system, because what we do is provide you with a turnkey system, which is very different than anything else that you've probably seen before that anybody else is doing. And you don't need to tinker with it. We've spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, and that's the whole benefit of the product line, is that we set up a program specifically for you and what you're trying to accomplish. And we've done all the feeling around in the dark, so we've kind of worked it out, and we just help you implement it. How about what should you expect from us? And that's important. Well, we like to think that beyond just the product line and helping you to grow your business, sometimes this is about stability. And we've all had some weird years I guess it's probably the last half a dozen years or so now, where we've had to change a lot of things in our business. Construction jobs have dropped off. It hasn't been an easy couple of years. So we like to think that we can provide stability in your business by really increasing your top line growth by growing, increasing your bottom line growth by being profitable. We'll also help you with budgeting and marketing and operations. We're really beyond just the product line and the brand. We can help you with many things that you deal with on a daily basis. I ran a company that had 25,000 lawn care service customers with more than 100 employees at times, and I know what it's like. So we really try to work that in with advice too. Most importantly, we want to build value into your business. What's the end game here? And we don't sugarcoat this. A lot of times guys get into this to try to run it for 10 or 15 years and then sell it to the big companies. And that's why when we looked at that top 5 list, there's a couple that are up there. That's how they grow, by acquisition. So we like to think that your business will be worth a heck of a lot more after implementing the BeeSafe program for a couple of years. So if you are looking to sell your business, we can absolutely help you build value in it. If you're looking just for stability and more profitability and maybe pass it down to your kids, maybe your parents passed it down to you, stability is obviously a big part of it. So I know that a couple of you guys have typed in questions in regards to the investment, and that's why I didn't answer them, because it's where we're going right now. So what does it take to become an authorized dealer applicator? And I guess before I didn't mention this earlier, but the word dealer can be confusing. And we are what's legally known as a dealer network. We're not a franchise. We're a dealer network. But sometimes that indicates that we're asking you to sell our product, and that's not true at all. So I want to clear that up. We're asking you to use our product under our brand on your lawn care customers. So we try to break the habit of saying dealer, but sometimes it's difficult. So don't think we're just trying to get you to sell product. So to get involved with the BeeSafe network, there are multiple tiers and options. The initial fee is $4,900. We've had companies come on for a heck of a lot more than that, from anywhere from $14,900 to up to $24,900, and I'll explain why that is. So for that $4,900, you become an entry-level applicator. And what you do is you get access to our line of BeeSafe proprietary products and systems. As I said, the products are very different than what you've been accustomed to or used in the past. You can't buy them anywhere else. We only sell our products to members of the network. You've got legal access to use and display all of the BeeSafe logos and branding. We know that's really important. There's power in a brand, and we know consumers will trust a brand, more so than sometimes they'll just trust a local company. So there's power in the brand, and we want you to use it. You get things like a professionally designed suite of marketing collateral, so you can just kind of drop your logos and information and contact information in there. Sales resources, a media kit to help you get the word out. The ongoing support is very important in terms of marketing and operations. I've talked about that already. Vendor discounts on things that we don't manufacture, but we know that you need. We can help you get, at a discount. One of the best things about joining the network is our training. And we have a 2-day session that we have here in Manchester, New Hampshire. We've got one coming up just next week, the 31st and 1st. And there's still spots, so if this is something that any of you guys are interested in doing, you might want to take a look at your calendar. It's coming up real fast. So we do 2 days. We get lots of guest speakers. We have a good time. You know what happens when you get a bunch of landscapers in a room for a couple days. We bring in guys like Chip Osborne. If you don't know Chip, he does 1 full day of agronomic training in regards to organics. Chip is nationally known for his education work and his advocacy, and he is a really smart guy. We're really lucky to have him on board. In the past, we've had Joe Cusick, who is the owner of Real Green Systems. Some of you guys might use Real Green software. I've looked at it before. Joe does a nice talk on marketing. Dave Christensen is a PR expert. He used to be in the music industry, and he's really good at getting the word out and promotions. Dave Malevsky, Justin Haggerty, these guys are successful dealers that we have sometimes come in. And then Dick Conley, who's the director of dealer development. And we've got different guys all the time. Of course, I do a lot of it too. We talk about products and marketing, and it's good. You'd like it. So beyond that, most of our applicators are members of the network, want to protect territory. They want to have their own specific niche. They want to have their own protected geographical range, and this is where there's a similarity to a franchise in that once we bring on a member of the network and they've protected a territory, we'll get out of there and just help you grow within that particular area. So that's all depends on demographics and how many households you want to protect, and it's not an exact science, but generally speaking, $9,900 will protect up to 150,000 single-family dwelling units. 14.9 will protect 250,000. So most of our applicators have done something like that. In those upper tiers, we'll also throw in a customized BeeSafe website. I'll show you a couple really good ones a little bit later when we talk about marketing. And then a year subscription to my Lawn Quote, which is really awesome platform to help with marketing. And I'll go into that a little bit later too. So in terms of determining what your demographics are, most of you guys are probably like, man, I don't know how many single family dwelling units are in my market. Well, Dick does. Dick is he's good at figuring that stuff out, and will help you determine how many homes are in particular areas and how many zip. We usually like to do it by county, but a lot of times it has to be broken down by zip code, and that's something that we'll work hand in hand with you to try to figure out. Okay, so the program, and lots of questions about products in here too. I'm gonna review the program and our products relatively quickly. I could go on for a long time about it, but you need to have a general idea of what we do. So we offer our applicators different options: the elite option, our standard advanced option, transitional program we call the elements program, and then affordable inputs and your chemical program. And all of this revolves around 5 specific things. This isn't just throwing fertilizer around 6 times a year. This is a group of products that revolve around 5 specific principles: bionutrition, which is the improvement of the soil food web by literally applying soil improving microbes to help get the soil food web humming along and increase the indigenous species. Biostimulation, which is using certain products to manipulate the stress level in your turf. When do your customers get mad at you? They get mad at you when your grass doesn't look good. And when doesn't grass look good? When it's stressed out, usually heat and drought. Most of the time they don't get that though. So we introduce elements into the program that will help deal with that. We don't throw fertility out the window by any means. We have organic sources of nitrogen and potassium. Generally speaking, our products are phosphorus-free. Chemical-free pest control. You can't ignore weeds, crabgrass, grubs, chinch bugs. You need to have options for those. And then, of course, information and education are always very important. Let's talk about the elite program. This is something that we've worked on for a long time. and it's pretty cool. It's not like anything else you'll be able to get anywhere, maybe in the world. So the majority of our products revolve around the introduction of a select consortium of biological inputs. What that means is that all of the products have microorganisms in there that are designed to do specific things with the turf. We can help you actually, we can manufacture products based specifically on individual sites. So you do a bioassay study of the soil on a particular site, and we would literally manufacture our products to match up specifically with that site. So certain species of bacteria and fungi and other microorganisms to match up specifically with what that particular turf needs. Now, it is more expensive, but that's mainly because it's based on minimums. We have to manufacture, usually up to 55 gallons at a time. So you've got a small lawn that you only need 5 gallons of something on, you've got 10 years worth of product, and that's not where we want to go. So the cost per thousand isn't really a lot more, but there is a minimum. So this is something that you would sell to estate properties or large, really big municipal sites, things like that. Our regular advanced program is our standard and patent-pending 6-step liquid program that revolves around that 5-principle approach we talked about. There's very little transitional time, meaning that a lawn can go from chemical to organic without a whole lot of transition. A lot of times people say, hey man, it's going to take me 3 years, I don't want to have to deal with that. We can do it pretty quickly. Sometimes in the case of a really over-treated chemical lawn, so True Green's been treating the lawn for 10 years, the soil is literally dead. There is no biology in the soil. So you would want to put in 1 or 2 of a granular application, in the south maybe up to 3, to deal with short-term nitrogen requirements while we transition the soil. Our elements program, we talked about this a couple times. It really takes a standard chemical program or your traditional program that has pre-emergence, post-emergence, insect controls, anything else that might be in there, but then we'll introduce elements of our organic program. What ends up happening is your costs go down. It's actually less than what you're paying for your regular traditional program. And here's an example. This is just this is a 6-step elements program, and it'll give you an idea of the cost. This is the cost per 1,000 square feet for you, not what you're going to charge, but what you're paying in product cost per 1,000 square feet. And to get it under $8 per 1,000 square feet per year is pretty good. You're going to have a hard time competing with that. This doesn't include any weed controls. It doesn't include a pre-emergence, so that would be in addition to it. But most people are pretty surprised to see that this elements program is very inexpensive, and it's pretty close to organic too. I mean, it's based on soil biology. It just includes some urea, which isn't considered organic because it's manufactured from petroleum, but it's a good program. The cost of the other programs, the elite program, is obviously more and depends on a lot of variables. It's something that you're going to sell to an upper class clientele. It's going to cost more. A regular advanced program usually is about $12, maybe $13 per 1,000 square feet, which is in pretty close to what your chemical program would be. And if you need to save some money, we can plug other things in there to lower it. But so generally speaking, we're not talking about $40 per 1,000 square feet per year like some of an old-fashioned granular program would be. Specific products. So I want to talk about just one because it'll give you an idea of what many of the other products are like. And Growth Activator Pro is a big part of our program all over the country in the north and the south. It's an all-natural product specifically formulated to enhance the biological activity in the soil profile and promote the establishment, enhance the viability of all turf. It's a diverse microbial system that contains multiple strains and species of beneficial soil bacteria and fungi and all good things to help improve the soil food web and promote rapid establishment in the rhizosphere, which is really the root zone. Growth Activator Pro also contains a unique blend of bioactive microbial metabolites to further enhance overall product performance. Sounds kind of complicated, right? Well, it kind of is, and it has. This is an example of the microbial components of Growth Activator Pro. So there are many different species of bacteria and fungi. They're all there to do a specific thing. When I said this is different, I was serious. It's very different than most things you've used or been involved with in the past. And this will give you an idea of, I won't go into all of them, but certain types of bacteria and fungi and what they do. whether it's trying to find nitrogen in other places or solubilize phosphorus or suppress turf disease or remediate pesticide residue. Everything is in there for a reason. We can talk about all of our products anytime. We don't have time right now, but I think we've probably got about 20 different products that we put together in a specific program for your needs. And we can talk about that later, obviously. What about weed control? Well, most of our guys are using Fiesta, and especially up in Canada, you know what that is. It's the water-soluble chelated iron product. Kills dandelions like in an hour. Kills other broadleaf weeds fairly well too. New product called Adios, which is an EPA-exempt post-emergent weed control for broadleaf weeds and for grassy weeds. It also controls crabgrass, so this is huge and completely EPA-exempt. A lot of our guys will use a liquid corn gluten as a pre-emergent, and works very well. Insect control, there are so many cool insect controls that just haven't got a lot of attention over the years because it's so dominated by the chemical business. But cedar oil and nematodes and neem oil and other botanicals work wonders controlling insects without using a lot of the more strong insecticides that we've tend to use over the years. I should note we don't manufacture these products. We manufacture really the products that are associated with the fertility and the soil inoculants. And when it comes to control products, we're always going to try to find you the best options at the best cost. Finally, how do you get organics in your chemical program? And a quick story about a couple of these products. Turf Soother is a product we have that is a combination of humic acid and seaweed. It's a great summertime product. And I mentioned Perfilon earlier. They took their 15,000 chemical lawn care customers and implemented Turf Soother for their summertime application on every single one of them last year. And I consider it a victory because nobody noticed. Nobody said, hey, what's wrong with my lawn, or what's going on here. Turf Soother is really an economic, kind of an inexpensive product that's perfect for hot weather. And they treated their entire customer base with it with nobody even questioning it. Growth activator, we've got research that suggests even as little as 5 ounces per 1,000 square feet will reduce your nitrogen input by up to 25%. So sometimes it's about reducing inputs. And then 2000 with BIOS is a biologically enhanced urea, which isn't organic but really reduces your inputs significantly. All of this information about all of our products is on what we call our due diligence site. It's a password protected resource because all this stuff is pretty proprietary that will get to you guys. The dealer advisor that got you here, and if you signed up online, we'll get you a login and password so that you can go in and do your own research. We call it due diligence, so you can kind of go in and do your due diligence on a lot of the products and things that we do. We'll get that information to you at the conclusion. We got a couple of high-profile customers I usually like to mention. Scarborough's big because it's got national attention. It's a little town, or a little city, I should say, in Maine that made a real commitment to going organic, and we successfully pulled it off, and with a lot of national play without using any chemicals at all. We did inherit some serious grub infestation. We used a little bit of Dialoxon, but we transitioned the entire town to organic seamlessly, and we were very successful with it. If any of you guys are going on vacation down in Florida this winter, if you go to Universal Studios, check out the grass because it is BeeSafe. Harvard University, which really kind of kicked a lot of this off, I guess 8 or 9 years ago, by doing an enormous study on how they converted their campus to organic by using compost and compost tea, sort of on the same idea of our elite program, is now using BeeSafe products in addition to doing that. So we've got some big heavy hitters here. Little League World Series parks, regional parks down in New Jersey are BeeSafe, but a lot of this really gets funneled down to residences, and we've got a goal of being able to handle 50,000 lawns in 2013, and we'll do that easily. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about marketing, and I'm sort of on time here. Actually, I'm doing okay. I'm a little bit ahead, and I haven't seen anybody jump off, so I'm probably not boring anybody too bad. But I like to talk about marketing here because it's this time of year that we need to do it. You need to have your marketing squared away and your plan and be prepared for growth. So we're going to talk about the top 5 most successful marketing lead sources, the importance of closing percent, how the one-step or even the no-step sale is not the future anymore, it's the present, and how to differentiate from some other companies and competition. So this is real simple. Everybody asks, how the heck do I make sales? Well, these are going to be your five most important right here. Referrals are gold. Referrals are free sales. And you need to have a referral program, and especially with organics, we found that many people are very happy to share their success with their family and their friends and people they work with, and you need to go after that. You need to have a referral program in place. Every piece of information that ever leaves your office or ever comes out of your truck, whether it's a statement on paper or an email or an advertisement or on your website, has to have your referral program. And your referral program could be anything from a free Lyme treatment or a half price ant flea and tick control treatment. Any type of offer is up to there are companies giving away $50 cash for referrals. You need to promote that. That's a very important. It's free marketing, and take advantage of it. Previous customer, we talk about this. Any customer who's ever done business with you in the past, whether it's for your lawn care program or for maintenance or anything you've ever done, any relationship you've ever had with any customer ever, you need to get in touch with and try to get them signed up on your program. We found over the years at Lawn Dog that when a customer canceled, whether it was because they were dissatisfied or moving or whatever the reason, most of the time it was just because they wanted to chill out for a while. They wanted to skip a couple of applications, and they weren't necessarily dissatisfied, and they most of the time weren't really moving. So it's cancel that really didn't even need to be a cancel. They just wanted to skip a while, and you'll find great results in contacting previous customers and getting them signed up. Rejected leads, this is a lot like that previous customer source code, but anytime you've ever done an estimate for anybody for anything, if you got any kind of relationship with them, if you've done lawn care estimates for them in the past, you want to get them new information. So if it's calling them or sending them an email or go door hanging, whatever, get in touch with every lead you've ever done ever, and it will be an incredible lead source for you. Email marketing is changed, kind of taken over for where telemarketing used to be. We grew Lawn Dog significantly by running big telemarketing campaigns. Now email is a little bit different, and I mention email because anytime you have any contact with any customer ever, there's a golden rule. It's always get their email address, and you can set up campaigns to kind of nurture these leads, whether it's through a newsletter or valuable information, tips on their lawn, FAQs, things like that. Email marketing is although not high rate of return on it, the more email addresses you have, the more customers you will get. Period. That's a rule. Direct mail is sort of an old school way to do it, one of the most expensive ways to do it, but it is proven to work. And a lot of the bigger companies will run their entire campaigns specifically on direct mail. It's very predictable. It's not always the greatest. Got to send out a lot of pieces to make a lot of sales, but there's no doubt it works. Closing percent. I hope most of you guys know what closing percent is, and I hope most of you track it. If you don't, you should. A closing percent is really sales divided by leads. That will give you your closing percent. This is most important for budgeting and planning for the following year. If you know that you did a direct mail campaign that generated 500 leads, you made 350 sales on it, your closing percent was 70%. You know exactly that if you do that same exact thing next year, or if you're in the following year looking back, you can budget that to happen. So historical data and knowing what your closing percent is on certain lead sources is huge. Even with referral, your referral lead closing percent is going to be really high. Your telemarketing lead closing percent is going to be really low. But when you're building a sales plan, you need to have as many sources as you possibly can to squeeze out as many sales as you possibly can, and you need to know your numbers. The one-step sale. I'm gonna jump out of my PowerPoint here for a minute and show you guys something, because it's one advantage that the BeeSafe dealers enjoy in a big way. So one-step sale means instead of in the past generating a lead, say somebody calls up and says, hey, I want an estimate. What you do is you take their information, you go to their house, you measure the lawn, you leave your information at the door, you bring that information back, you follow up on with them, with the homeowner, and it could be a 10-step sale. And most of the time you guys know that things get really busy, especially in the springtime. How many leads never get run? Many. So what we've tried to do is reduce that chain of events to be a one-step or a zero-step sale. And we do it using the My Lawn Quote platform. So here's an actual BeeSafe dealer, Troy's Landscape and Masonry, and you'll notice on his website right here called Get a Real-Time Quote. And this is going to be a zero-step sale. A customer is going to show up at Troy's website, click on Get a Real-Time Quote. It's going to bring them to this page where they can enter in their address. It will go to it. It will bring them to a satellite image of their home, and they're going to measure it by themselves. Now, I'm going to go fast because I know we're pressed for time here. So they're going to measure it using these basic tools. Now, remember, this is a homeowner doing this. This isn't even you. This is a zero-step sale. They get a measurement of 8,500 square feet. They're going to hit all done. Let's continue. I'm going to go in here. Lo and behold, is an estimate based specifically on your particular price information and the information that the square footage that the homeowner just selected by measuring their lawn. This is a pretty awesome setup, and this is how the BeeSafe applicators really eliminate the step process and can really have a salesperson on staff 24 hours a day. So they just drive traffic to their site. You've got customers doing their own estimates and basically getting price quote immediately. I'm not going to go further with this, but the homeowner can actually go on and sign up. They could prepay too if they wanted to. It will process payments as well from them. So the one-step sale is huge. The two-step sale would be where the customer calls in. Using that particular platform, you can say, where you used to say, all right, let me come out, measure your lawn, and leave you some information. You're going to actually use that program to plug up their address, get a measurement, and send them an email with an exact price quote immediately. So you're pushing, doing estimates, making sales in instants, in minutes, as opposed to where it could be weeks in the past. You'll see your closing rates skyrocket by using that particular method. Differentiation. This is where I'm going to get cheap on you. The best way to differentiate your business is to join the BeeSafe network, or join to the BeeSafe network. We mean join the BeeSafe network. By joining the BeeSafe network, and not with that typo, you're going to be different. You're going to be able to offer a service that nobody else in your area is successfully offering. If you protect territory, you'll be the only one doing it, and you'll be different than any other business in your area. You'll have a leg up on the competition, and you'll kick their butts. So that's how you're going to be different. So we're going to wrap it up here. Man, I kept it to a smooth 40-something minutes. Not too bad. I've been watching the questions pop up, and I believe I answered them all as I went. This is we do this often, so I know for the most part what kind of question you guys are going to ask. Lots of questions about how do you determine territory, and that's why I mentioned that we'll help you figure that out. Dick will work with you to figure out what your particular demographic is, and it's a little bit, it's easier than you think. He's pretty good at it. So determining the territory isn't black and white, but it's something that can easily get done. We did cover the product costs. Roughly, on average, somebody asked what should you budget per 1,000 square feet per application? About $2 per 1,000 square feet for the standard program. And organics typically would have been $6 or $7 per 1,000 square feet in the past. We've got it close to $2 per 1,000 square feet. And on a 6-app program, you're in the neighborhood of $12 per 1,000 square feet, Joe. There's a couple other questions about are certain areas already protected. And we've got 60-something dealers. Probably 50 of them have protected territory, and I've got lots of questions about that, so I'm not going to answer those specifically. I'd like you to follow up with Dick or the dealer advisor that brought you here, or at least somebody else. We can check on that. I'd hate to say something isn't taken and it is taken, and I don't know them all right off the top of my head. Hey, Chuck, good question about the one-step, no-step quote. We've got a great relationship with a company called MyLawnQuote.com. I helped to develop the program with the developer. We developed it specifically for the BeeSafe network, but it was a little bit more complicated. It was expensive. It was very expensive to do. It's a pretty complicated setup. So what they do is they will sell it to the general public. But yes, is it set up through membership? If you protect territory, that's included at no charge, and the website too. If you don't go as far as protecting territory, we can integrate it, but you get it for half price. Typically, I think it's $50 a month to use the process. BeeSafe dealers get it at half price, and we can integrate it that way. So you've got options. If you're gonna protect territory, it's included. If you're gonna come in at a lower range, you just purchase it through MyLawnQuote. We make it all happen for you. Our developer is pretty slick, so we'll make it happen for you. It just depends on how much it costs you, and if you're not going to protect territory, it's still very low. That was a horrible answer I just gave you. I'm sorry. I feel like I rambled for about 10 minutes on a very simple question. We love that too. I mean, I really helped develop that because I know that's where the industry is going. And if you do other services beyond just lawn care, we've got applicators with that set up to do their mowing estimates, to do any estimate or any service that you do that's based on size. So and everything that we do in our industry is kind of based on size. And there are times when the satellite image isn't perfectly clear, and you may have to get some clarity, but you can basically sell anything through that system and setup. Okay, well, guys, I'm going to wrap up. If there's any other questions, feel free to give us a call here anytime. Again, my name is Tom Kelly. You can get me here. You want to talk about the dealer program, talk to Dick Conley, who's the Director of Dealer Development, or the specific dealer advisor that brought you here today. Or if you signed up on your own, we'll set you up with that due diligence, and you'll get an email from us within the coming hours. So thanks for spending some time with us today. Guys, I know it's difficult for you to take time out of your busy day, and I'm very appreciative of it. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you again.